What's going on, guys? K-Pine here and welcome back. And in this video, I'll be featuring the team I used to go 30-5 with a 15-game win streak all the way to Legend in Season 16 of the GOBattleLeague. Serperior on the lead, Sableye on the safe swap, and Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the back. And in this video, I'll be providing you with how I played out some of the most common leads and safe swaps in order to help you guys get a handle of the team and potentially run it to great success yourselves. And with that, let's get right into the battles. Alright, getting to the first battle, we lead Serperior into Shadow Dragonite. And this is going to be the same thing for a Shadow Dragonair lead as well. You're going to want to stay in, throw an Aerial Ace, and then dip into your Sableye. The reason why we don't dip into our Sableye right away is because since switching takes a turn, we'll always be behind and they'll be able to outpace us to the Dragon Claws. But by throwing the Aerial Ace first, we get some nice chip, where then our Shadow Claw pressure from our back line can potentially farm down the Dragonite. Or if they give up a shield, then we automatically have a shield advantage from the start. And here in this situation, I am running a very attack weighted Sableye, which means when a Licky is counter swapped into it, I'm only going to be able to reach a return and a foul play if they go for a power up and try and farm down like they do. But I do recommend running a defensively weighted Sableye. While it's nice, I win a lot more CMP ties. Having a defensively weighted Sableye can come in clutch, as in reaching 2 returns against a Licky, and in a lot of other situations, it is the way to go. And now you see here, we're able to soft lose that matchup, get some extra energy onto our Serperior, throw another Aerial Ace, which we get the shield. And now we're just going to go for the farm down with our A-Slash right here. We will shield up the Dragon Claw to respect the superpower. Sorry, we will shield up to respect the superpower, but it only ends up being a Dragon Claw, and they end up having a Registeel in the back. And here, my Serperior is actually going to be able to close out this game. I know, a Grass type being able to close out against a Steel type and a Flying Dragon type. Absolutely insane. But that first show run does a lot of damage. Second one does get their final shield. And now here, we're going to reach this Frenzy Plant on the CMP tie to their Focus Blast. Is this going to be enough to take out the Reggie? It's going to be very close. Just barely takes out the Reggie. And now we Vine Whip down the Dragonite for a good game. GG's to my opponent. Next battle, we lead Serperior into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. We're going to safe swap right away into our Sableye. And you're going to want to do the same thing against the Gligar lead as well. You're going to safe swap right away into your Sableye. But against a Shadow Alolan Sandslash lead. This is another situation why I recommend having a high rank Sableye. Because if you have a high attack weighted Sableye, you will be able to survive an Ice Punch and get to 2 foul plays. But if they go for a Drill Run, you won't be able to get to 2 foul plays in time, right? If you have a high defensively weighted Sableye, you can survive both an Ice Punch or a Drill Run and get to 2 foul plays regardless, of which in a Shadow A/Slash lead, you safe swap the Sableye and they stay in that matchup. That's very crucial to give you that freedom to no shield that move instead of worrying about if they go for a Drill Run or an Ice Punch, as you'll make those 2 foul plays regardless. Now in this situation, they bring in a Charjabug. That Accessor does do a lot of damage, and this next one will take out my Serperior. But here I can bring in my Shadow A/Slash and farm down the Charjabug. Now they bring in their own A/Slash. I'm going for the Drill Run right away. This is going to knock out their A/Slash if they decide to let it go, but they do not. They give up their final shield, and that's fine by me. I will shield back, especially knowing that, hey, right, they swap in their A/Slash down on energy against mine on even shields. Like, my A/Slash is primed to sweep this game. What my opponent wants to come in with here, and now we see why they came in with their A/Slashes. They have a Gligar in the back, and here I was going to load up. I was going to throw my Ice Punch on the CMP tied to the dig since we do win that, but they cash out early, land that Aerial Ace, which is not going to be enough. So now we're able to farm down the Charjabug and land this Ice Punch on the Gligar for a good game. GG's to my opponent. Next battle, we lead Serperior into Sableye. Now, Sableye Lead, it does take 2 charge moves to take out the Sableye. However, one of those charge moves has to be a Frenzy Plant. So what I normally do is I go for an Aerial Ace off the bat, because Sableyes, they tend to shield more often than not on the first charge move. Make sure you're always building up to the Frenzy Plant before you throw. And then if they do shield that Aerial Ace, you get to freely land the Frenzy Plant. If they let the Aerial Ace go like they do in this situation, you make it to the Frenzy Plant and force shields regardless, because Serperior does win the zeros against Sableye, so you always come out of that matchup. So you're always going to at least win the zeros, and if your opponent commits a shield, you just come in with your own Sableye right here, farm one, shield once, and farm theirs all the way down. So they do reach a second foul play, but that's fine because we have tons of energy stored to throw out whatever they come in, which is this Registeel. So we're able to land this second foul play now. My opponent is going to have to throw a charge move to take me out. And you know what? I know that they can't farm me down, lock on farm me down, and coming in with a Reggie there, I was kind of guessing that they were weak to the Sable in the back. And they weren't necessarily weak to the Sable and back since they did have a Venu, but we are able to get their final shield with that foul play, and my A-Slash can just close out the game, and my opponent realizes that, so they concede. GG's. Next battle, we lead Serperior into Swampert. Okay, so this one's not focused on the lead, but it's focused on the safe swap instead, being a Sableye safe swap. Build up to the Frenzy Plant. You can either throw the Frenzy Plant or bait with the Aerial Ace, depending on if you think they're going to shield or let it go. It's kind of a 50-50 call whether they shield or let it go. But the reason why we do that is because we have a favorable lead, the Serperior into the Swampert, and I don't have a great response to the Sableye. My best response to the Sableye is my own Sableye. So before I save swap into my Sableye, I either want to get damage off onto theirs or guarantee that shield. So we get that damage off or the shield, and then we save swap into our own, and all we really do is just match shields with our opponent at that point, and we will be able to maintain switch advantage, which you see we do here. And now they're going to bring in a Bastion, get a little bit of a farm down, and this is pretty good situation for us to be in, right? We were able to play out the lead and swap right, so we were able to maintain alignment just as we wanted it. Now here, I am going to give up a shield to the Flamethrower, load up on energy, and here, arguably I make a little bit of misplay. I throw some moves at the Swampert first, knowing that, hey, my A-Slash can sweep either way, but in reality, probably just should have swapped into my Serperior right away. I was a little afraid that, hey, maybe they are running Sludge Wave, so let me put this Swampert into a little bit of a manageable range first, but they weren't. But either way, it's really not going to matter, as we farm the Swampert down all the way. And we should reach 2 Frenzy Plants against the Bastiodon. Got to make sure we're throwing on good timing first, right? As a 2-turn move user against a 3-turn move user, you're going to want to be throwing after 1 iterations of your fast move, 4 iterations of your fast move, or 7 iterations of your fast move. So always making sure we're throwing on good timing. You get to the Frenzy Plant. My opponent no-shields it, knowing that I have the Drill Run banked, which is a smart play by them, but we are able to do enough damage to take out the Bastiodon. GG's to my opponent. Next battle, the Medicham Lead. Now this is a very similar situation to that of the Sableye Lead, where the Serperior wins the zeros, and 2 moves do knock out the Medi, but one of those has to be a Frenzy Plant, as 2 Aerial Aces don't do enough damage. So against the Medi, I like going for the Frenzy Plant right off the bat, right? Medicham's bulky. Medicham users don't like to shield their Medicham, or at least shield the Medicham right away. So going for that Frenzy Plant, which is the harder hitting move than Aerial Ace, even though it's super effective, allows you to get the most damage off. As you see here, they do end up shielding that Aerial Ace, so they can get switch advantage, but that's fine, right? We landed that Frenzy Plant. We did enough damage where even if they do swap out, it's in a very manageable health range for our A-Slash. Our A-Slash will take a little bit of double super effective damage from those counters, but not enough to really put too much hurt since they are so low. And if you go for a Frenzy Plant off the bat and your opponent shields the Frenzy Plant, it's kind of the same situation. You're still going to play out the zero shield scenario and land that second Frenzy Plant there. But you'll see here, we're able to take out that Medi. Like I said, it's in a manageable health range. Back in comes, and in the back they have a Serperior, and our A-Slash was just primed to sweep that game. GG's. Lickitung Lead. This is very crucial you play out this matchup exactly as I do here. Licky and Medi is a very common core, which means every time you face a Lickitung Lead, not every time, but more often than not, our backline is going to RPS their backline. And since Serperior wins all even shield scenarios against the Licky, you just match shields against the Licky. They commit no shields, you commit no shields. They commit one shield, you'll commit one shield. They commit two shields, you'll commit two shields. But every time, make sure you're throwing first, right? I mean, in the zero, when you get to your first Frenzy Plant, you can let them throw first, because again, you're going to be tanking one Body Slam either way. But after a shield is committed, make sure you're throwing first. And also, side note, always go for Frenzy Plants, but if their Licky brings it down to the 2 shield scenario, you can go for the move that would KO the Licky as Aerial Ace, but only if they bring it down to the 2 shield scenario. So as you'll see here, their backline, Medicham, Mandibuzz, our backline, Sableye, A-Slash, whoever wins lead is going to RPS the end game. And that's how it normally is for Lickitung Leads. So it's very, very important you play it out like I explained here. Now we will commit a shield on the Dark Pulse just so we can take care of this Mandibuzz. We're going to over farm quite a lot. Go for the Joran here to take out the Licky, right? Ice Punch is not going to quite be enough. So now we would still be able to get to the back-to-back. Ice Punch is there, as a Dark Pulse would not be enough to take us out from that range, so our opponent concedes. GG's. Now DD Lead, you play it out almost identical to that as the Lickitung Lead, right? Always go for Frenzy Plants, but if they bring it down to the 2 shield scenario, the knocking out move could be the Aerial Ace. However, what I do differently is I commit the first shield here, because sometimes they'll go for a Psycho Boost and dip, and oftentimes the Licky is behind the DD, and I don't have the best response to Licky, so I like to keep the Serperior healthy. And by shielding the first Psycho Boost, that helps that situation, whether they swap out into their Licky or stay in. And in this case, since they stayed in for a while, got a bunch of counter damage off, and then swapped into their Licky, I wasn't going to be able to win this matchup in the mid game just because of the counter damage that would have been applied. Licky would be able to take out my Serperior, so I land a Frenzy Plant, swap into my A-Slash so I can maintain alignment and potentially put my Sableye onto that DD. Or here they hard swap to bring it back in. But say your opponent has like a DD lead or a Medi lead, and they instantly swap into their Licky, like right off the bat. You stay in that one and play it exactly like it's a Licky lead scenario, because that way you will still win all even shield scenarios, just like the lead. But now you have 2 answers for that DD or Medi in your Serperior and your Sableye, right? So there's no need to swap out. You play out exactly how I explained the Lickitung Lead. If it's they instantly swap in your Licky right off the bat from the start of the game, get switch advantage, align your Sable to that Medi or that DD, and then generally your A-Slash is good against your third Mon there as well. You'll see here in this scenario, we'll watch for the catch. We just give up a shield to the power up, and we're in a good position here. All we need to do is get to the back-to-back foul plays, since we know that Sableye does win CMP over Alolan Sandslash. So first foul play will take out the Lickitung, and second foul play will take out the A-Slash. GG's to my opponent. Next battle, we lead Serperior into Medi. I did show a Medi lead earlier in this video, so instead we're going to be focusing on the safe swap. It's if your opponent instantly safe swaps into a Steelix, you're going to be wanting to throw your Frenzy Plant as soon as you get it, right away, immediately swapping into your A-Slash, and then throwing your Drill Run right away. The reason why we're throwing our Frenzy Plant right away Normally you don't want to as a 2-turn user against a 3-turn user because you'd be throwing on alignment, and therefore that's bad timing. But since switching right off the bat, it takes a turn. A 3-turn move such as Dragon Tail, doing 4 Dragon Tails takes 12 turns. But because switching takes a turn, that now means it takes 13 turns, right? And you, after getting 6 Vine Whips, is 12 turns, so that becomes the new good timing. But the reason why we're gonna then want to throw our Drill Run right away is because it takes 8 Dragon Tails to get to an Earthquake. So by throwing that Frenzy Plant, swapping into our A-Slash, getting to that Drill Run, if your opponent commits no shields, you just instantly get rid of the Steelix. So by doing that, you force them to commit a shield before you have to commit a shield to respect their Earthquake. And if they commit a shield, they build up 8 Dragon Tails to get to the Earthquake, then you'll most likely shield in return to respect the Earthquake, unless you're feeling risky and want to call the Breaking Swipe bait. But if that explanation was a little too confusing, because I feel like I didn't do the best job explaining it right there, basically, if your opponent instantly swaps into his Steelix right off the bat, you're going to want to throw your Frenzy Plant as soon as you get it, safe swap instantly into your Sandslash right after, and throw your Drill Run as soon as you get it, where it forces them to commit a shield, and if they do, you can just respect the Earthquake in return. Next battle. Now this one is in regards to a Serperior safe swap. Now with a Serperior safe swap, you can't be slow in counter swapping it into your A-Slash, right? Because 2 Frenzy Plants is enough to KO your A-Slash, and 1 Ice Punch isn't enough to KO the Serperior, so therefore you have to throw 2 Ice Punches. Where if you take more than 2 Vine Whips of 2 iterations of the Vine Whip fast move to counter swap into your A-Slash, they're going to outpace and they will force a shield. So by you being quick on your toes, you're able to get to the back-to-back Ice Punches and maintain switch advantage without giving up a shield. Now in this scenario, we both have 2 shields and they have a Shadow Charizard here. I could just double shield and farm all the way down and win this game. Or I could throw a Foul Play in there knowing that, hey, my Serperior is going to reach an Aerial Ace either way. So in reality, I could just farm down all the way or throw some fast charge moves as well and be fine. So I do force their shield with that Foul Play, and now here they are going to reach another move. But that is perfectly fine because the Dragon Claw will take me out. But my Serperior can then Vine Whip down the Charizard before they reach another move. And this Lantern is just in a bad way. We don't need to go for Frenzy Plants. These Aerial Aces will finish off the job. First Aerial Ace gets the shield, throw the second one right away, and this will take out the Lantern for a good game. GG's to my opponent. Next battle, we lead Serperior into Dewgong. Okay, this is a matchup you need to make sure you're throwing on good timing. Remember how I explained as a 2-turn move user against a 3-turn move user? You're going to want to throw after 1 iterations of your fast move, 4 iterations, or 7 iterations for good timing. And it's very crucial. Now here, I go for something a little risky. I go for an Aerial Ace bait just to save me a little bit of energy. It's completely unnecessary. You win all even shield. You win the all even shield scenarios against a Dewgong going straight Frenzy Plant, right? So the reason why I went for that bait is because, you know, it's kind of a safe bait just because Dewgong users like to shield the first move since they get to apply the Icy Wind debuff. But either way, you can win this going straight Frenzy Plant. I threw on a little suboptimal timing. You could try and go for the CMP tie to that final Icy Wind there, but then it gives them a catch opportunity. So I threw a little bit on suboptimal timing just to guarantee I could take out the Dewgong. Now they bring in a Gligar. So I'm going to pivot into my Sableye, right? I have a good answer to the Gligar in my Shadow and Sandslash, and they stayed in with their Dewgong against my Serperior. So potentially they're ABA weak to the Serperior. So I'm going to pivot out, save the health that's on my Serperior. And if they are weak in the back, that'll force them to bring in their back Mon, which they do here. So my Serperior can take care of this Swampert. But first, I'm going to load up, make a fancy catch. And you know what? Our Serperior doesn't even need to take care of this Swampert. we catch the EQ. The reason why I actually do bring in my A-Slash here is it's a regular Swampert. They Hydro Cannon won't KO, so they have to go for the Earthquake. So we just catch the Earthquake, take out the Swampert, and then our A-Slash will be able to take out the Gligar as well, where we will reach this Ice Punch as our opponent concedes the match. GG's. Next battle. Ooh, so this is kind of a fun one. You look at this like, yo, dude, Capine, what do you do against a Fire Lead? Like, your ABA weak to that. Do you just get, like, destroyed? Well, while it is kind of tough, and I definitely do lose more Fire Leads than I win, I don't lose them all. I am sometimes able to get wins, like you'll see in this situation, which, in this battle, I should say, which is a good one. So the K9, we swap into our Sableye, right? Point of the Sableye safe swap is to get some sort of shield advantage. We're not trying to win Switch. What Switch can do for us? Absolutely nothing. So we try and leverage an energy advantage and a shield advantage with the Sableye safe swap. So here we do get a shield with that foul play against the K9. So now here, since we don't have shields left, I'm just gonna go for an insane amount of energy. I'm gonna bank a move on the A-Slash and then bring in my Serperior. I'm gonna go for an aggressive Vine Whip down, but they're running Flash Cannon. So as opposed to the Power Whip Thunder. If they're running Power Whip Thunder, I'd be able to Vine Whip down. They're running Flash Cannon, so I can't. And now this matchup with a Shadow K9 lead and a Ferrothorn with Flash Cannon matchup, it's kind of looking rough. And here, if I'm only gonna get to one move, Frenzy Plant does do more damage, so I do go for the Frenzy Plant. And my opponent actually lets it go. They're putting it all on the Medi, knowing that I have the Shadow A-Slash in the back. And this couldn't get any more than a hard counter game. Shadow Kanto Ninetales in the lead, Ferrothorn with Flash Cannon, and then a Medi on my Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Like, how is it possible? Well, all of our energy management, jumping around, using our shields properly, being able to store energy here, throw the harder hitting moves, able to get to the Joran and the Ice Punch, which is enough to take out the Medi, and that is a good game. GG's to my opponent. And here you'll see me claim a 5-0 set I got to achieve Legend rank, bringing us all the way up to 3039 ELO, as well as the double screenshot for good measure. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown and that you found it very informative. Let me know what you guys thought. Also, if there's anything I missed, like other lead scenarios or save swaps, please feel free to ask away in the comments below. I'd love to help. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.